Welcome to Motorland Aragon for the second race of this second round of the 2023 Spanish Formula 4 Championship. My name is Leo Corman, and as the drivers make their way to the grid for this fifth race of the season, we're going to reflect on what was a quite tense battle yesterday in the first race. That was won on track by Christian Ho, today's pole sitter, but unfortunately a penalty for the young man resulted in him losing that race win. He took a 2-second penalty for a track limit violation, and that dropped him down to second place behind Enzo Deligny, who started second yesterday and was second throughout the running, but then promoted to first after the checkered flag flew. And as you can see, it's a dry day today. It's not anywhere near as warm as it was yesterday. It is still relatively warm. It was 27 degrees Celsius yesterday, quite a bit cooler this morning. You can see clearly in the background, very overcast. As you see, the pole position man, Christian Ho, 2 pole positions. We're ready to go very shortly with this second race. 2 pole positions for Christian Ho. Enzo Deligny, again, as with yesterday, lines up second on the grid for this race. And you can see the Red Bull affiliated driver now. Very, very good job in what is only his second ever race weekend in cars. Entirely sure whether Deligny expected to take a race win as early as he did, but good success nonetheless. Third on the grid for Sainteloc Racing. This is Theophile Nael. He did an excellent job yesterday. Took a podium finish, fought off the challenge of Valerio Rinicella in the latter stages of yesterday's race to claim that win. And here is one driver we need to keep an eye on, is Andres Cardenas, fourth on the grid. A driver spotted by Fernando Alonso's team. Turned 15 just 13 days ago. And his first car race in general. He actually qualified 5th on the grid for yesterday's race. Came home 6th. And claimed a podium for the third spot on the podium for second spot on the podium for rookie honors. Pedro Claro, twice a winner at the opening round at Spa-Francorchamps. More of a difficult race yesterday. Started 12th, came home right at the tail end of the points-paying positions. As the grid begins to clear. Next up is Noah Stromstead, who, I tell a lie, my error, complete total error. Of course, it was Noah Stromstead who battled hard for the podium yesterday. Well, Theophile Nael was actually just behind him. We can see the starting grid on the screen now. Christian Ho ahead of Enzo Deligny, then Theophile Nael and Andres Cardenas ahead of Pedro Claro and Noah Stromstead. Valerio Rinicella ahead of Alex Ninovic. Geronimo Berrio and Noah Lyle round out the top 10 with Matteo De Pello and Keanu Alezzari starting 12th. 13th, you've got Riccardo Grazia ahead of Hiyu Yamakoshi, a new driver for this weekend, ahead of Federico Alrafai, Pablo Sarrazin, Griffin Peebles, and Luciano Morano. 19th is Flavio Oliveri ahead of Alexander Apsakova. Jessica Carrasquada starts 21st ahead of Theodore Jensen, Fernando Barrichello, and Carl Bennett, who is 24th. Daniel Nogales is 25th on the grid ahead of Eric Genet, with Georgi Zarabski starting 27th, with Avis Rodella 28th, Juan Cota and Alessandro Selvaggi rounding out the top 30, while Maximiliano Restrepo and Lynn Hodinius round out the bottom of the grid. And the driver's getting away under dummy lap to start this race. Now, I did mention it was a slight format change for this weekend, and that is to do with the race lengths. And a bit of an issue there. Someone getting away on this dummy grid. We'll investigate that more closely in a moment. That running slow, that was Yamakoshi who was running slow, the debutant driver this weekend. He actually races more in French Formula 4. He's taken a couple of podiums in that category so far, but really had a good run yesterday into the points positions, having started way down the order. Driver is now coming through the back chicane onto the back straight, where they weave and wind away down this long stretch, keeping some heat into their tires. Noah Lyle on screen. He's 10th on the grid. And that is Yamakoshi's entry, and the guy's gone right to the back. And not the healthiest sounding in the world either. Even though this is the dummy lap to the grid, would expect him to have a little bit more oomph. Field pack up as they come through the last couple of turns to line up and take the start of this race. And the field now closing up, and you can see up the front on the left hand side, well, the middle of your screen really, the white car with the black number box. That is the pole position man, that is Christian Ho. And on the right hand side of your screen, the traditional Red Bull colours, the blue, the red and the yellow nose, that is Enzo Deligny, both of them Campos Racing drivers. Third on the grid, Theophile Nael. And Yamakoshi is going into the pits, so something definitely wrong with his machine. And fourth is the rookie Andres Cardenas. And the lights are on and about to go, and we are out. And it's a slow start for Deligny. Christian Ho gets into the lead. He's getting challenged with Theophile Nael into turn one. Or Nail, I should say. My apologies. But Deligny has held a position. Nail trying to go down the inside of turn two, doesn't quite make it there, but that brings him to the inside of three, not quite close enough. That was Clairo, I think, has made a jump from fifth position to fourth, and he has got ahead of Cardenas. Stromstead and Rinachella have also jumped the order. That is Stromstead there in fifth position. Rinachella, the number 55 machine, is in sixth. There's another good start by Christian Ho. Got slightly distracted a few moments ago. The race length has increased from last year. This would have been 18 minutes plus one lap last year. It has now been increased to 25 minutes plus one lap. Races 1 and 3 have also increased in distance from 25 minutes plus 1 lap to 30 minutes plus 1 lap, so you get 7 minutes more action in this race. And we're seeing some real action here from Stromstedt and Rinicella, but Stromstedt holds his nerve and holds Rinicella back. He's looking to get past Pedro Claro, who's just ahead. Christian Ho has a good first lap, but the gap is 0.6 of a second. Then just behind is Theophile Nael. A little bit of a gap to Pedro Claro. And then you've got Stromstedt with Rinicella just behind, then Cardenas, then Ninovic, then Berrio, then De Pello. And they're weaving, trying to break the toe, trying to break the draft to make sure that, oh and no, Lyle really pushing hard to try and get past the Pello, and he's now going to the outside while Alazzari trying to go on the inside of the chicane, and that's going to be difficult, but they manage to avoid each other. And I think Alazzari has taken Lyle in the meantime, and it's actually put Lyle under pressure from Al Rifai and Riccardo Grazia. And the pack really fighting hard in the middle as they come into turn 1, weaving and changing and moving around the place, trying to find a gap, trying to find an advantage. The driver's going clear off the circuit to defend and to take advantage. That number 71, the red and black machine, that is Al Rifai. He's 12th position at the moment. We have someone going off. And a broken front wing somewhere along the line being rescued by the mechanics. That may well be Maximiano Restrepo. George Zurawski has pitted, so that actually could be Zurawski's front wing. So we've lost 2 drivers already. The number 6 in the background is the non-starting Namakoshi. And that is Zurawski, the number 9 machine, stationary just ahead. Their day is done, well, their race is done. They have another opportunity later on. But meanwhile, just seen Pablo Sarrazin battling with Al Rifai. That is over 13th and 14th positions. Sorry, that is actually Jeff Peebles who's made up another position. He's gone from 16th position. And one of the Sainteloc Racing entries in the middle of the pack, pulling out, trying to make another move. But right now we're watching Peebles and Sarrazin coming down into the chicane. That is Morano, who's trying to make a move on Oliveri, and they're going to hit, and they do! And Morano was out of control on the entry into the chicane, lost the back end completely under braking and slid into the side of Oliveri. I do believe one, if not both of them, will be in the pit lane after that. I do believe Oliveri took some significant damage there. Meanwhile, Claro, Stromstedt and Rinicella still battling over 4th, 5th and 6th positions. I do believe Stromstedt had got ahead of Claro for a moment, but they swapped positions again. And Rinicella's really sliding, and I wonder if he's got an issue. Sliding significantly. Cardenas is just behind. That's the number 74. That is Lin Hodines, who's just pulled into the pits with a broken front wing. That gets changed. This feels like forever when you're sitting in the pits. And this is the incident between Morano and Oliveri. Yeah, not really a whole lot to say about that. Morano got dirt on his tyres, but tried to keep the move on, and unfortunately slid into the back of Oliveri, or to the side of Oliveri. Now you've got Rinicella on screen now, under some very, very real pressure. Stromstedt there, and I do believe Rinicella went wide, and Stromstedt has got and a spin! It's a spin! That is Cardenas, and I wonder if he was helped from behind. And has he stalled his car? Well, so much is going on in this race. He's not stalled, he's rolling backwards, and the wheels haven't fully locked, but he is falling down the order. Now, did he spin? But oh no, he was clipped. Was that Rinnicella just behind? So I wonder too, maybe if Claro was actually just ahead, or yes, I do wonder if actually maybe that had been Claro who had fallen slightly behind into the pack. That's Rinnicella on screen now, behind Stromstead. Claro, meanwhile, is still in 4th position. A little bit of a gap over Stromstead. There is still a fight for the lead, by the way. There's half a second between Christian Ho and Enzo Deligny, but it's clearly not as enticing as what we're watching on screen at the moment, which seems more like a dogfight for the middle points positions. Stromstead still ahead of Rinnicella. They've swapped and they've changed and they've moved about and lost and regained. But worthwhile reminding, it's as we have another driver, and this is Flavio Oliveri, who was hit a few moments ago by Morana in the pits. I'm surprised if there's not some sort of suspension damage there, because I think he may have actually taken a hit pretty much on the left rear. Yeah, day done. They'll be looking at the toe links. So we're back to the Stromstead Rinnicella battle for 5th and 6th positions. That the three just didn't go through was Christian Ho, Enzo Deligny, and Theophile Nael. The gap between them, covering the top 3, is actually only 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds. Deligny is really closed up, but Christian Ho scored the fastest lap last time around at 2 minutes, 0.527, only 100th of a second quicker than the man on screen at the moment, Enzo Deligny. You just see there now the end of lap 4. And credit to Theophile Nael, who is not letting this go. Still down 3rd place, still keeping the watching brief. There to take advantage should there be any kind of collision or upset between the top 2. Enzo. Deligny coming into shot just there now. Nael just in the background there. 7/10 between the top 2, 7/10 between 2nd and 3rd, but then you got a gap. Claro has fallen 2.5 seconds behind. I think Claro will be much happier with his performance today as opposed to yesterday, when he finished 10th after starting 12th, considering his 2 wins and a 2nd place in Spa-Francorchamps. But he still does not quite have the pace to capture the top 3. Berio, Al-Rafai, Ninovic, Peebles, and Sarazan. Sarazan in number 12, the red and black car. Oh, and a couple of more drivers off. One of them is Theodor Jensen. Didn't quite capture who the other one is. Both have been taken to the circuit. It might have been David Nogales. Yeah, it was David Nogales, the number 13 car, and has Jensen broken his front wing as well? This is proving to be a very, very expensive race. For several drivers. We're getting warning flags going out for track limits as well. We had several warnings, well, several penalties, I should say, post-race penalties for track limits yesterday. One of them from this driver, Christian Ho. Cardenas, by the way, has pulled into the pits at the end of the last lap. Maybe a reset to see if there's any damage. But Christian Ho is being challenged very much by Deligny. There is Cardenas out of his car, out of this race. We'll see him later on today. Very, very disappointed clearly by what happened. Was tugged really from behind. And I wondered if he did take a significant bash. I see Noah Lyle, 9th place, defending very hard from Riccardo Grazia. As they come onto the start-finish straight from this last left kink, but Grazia's got to run. He's on the outside line, the racing line, but now Lyle is on the inside line holding the middle ground. Can he hold that position? Just behind them you have Geronimo Berrio, the gap only 0.5 of a second. Al Rafai and Ninovic just behind them in the 12th to 13th positions. Noah Lyle has maintained that 9th position, but for the moment he's still outside the points. Keanu Alazzari is a driver who holds that last points paying position in 8th position. That's Alazzari just ahead, but Noah Lyle's all his concentration is on what's happening just behind. Grazia pushing hard and really trying to pressure Lyle into an error. A little mistake that will open the window, give them an opportunity to make a move through. Berrio is kind of hoping that the two drivers ahead will just clash and open the door completely to take 2 positions in one go. And we've seen a lot of incidents in this race so far, thankfully none that have warranted a safety car or any kind of neutralization so far. We're only halfway through this race, really. 25 minutes plus 1 lap. Well, there's 11.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. As they come through the right-left chicane that brings them onto the start-finish straight. Berrio taking quite a different line, and I wonder if he's trying to get a draft, but it doesn't quite work out for him. Grazia's there as well. Don't think he's quite close enough to make something work on the back straight. But he is going to try and get close enough to maybe get a run to go onto the start or finish straight. Just behind Berrio, of course, you've got Al Rafai and Ninovic backing hard over 12th and 13th position with Pablo Sarrazin and Jeff Peebles, 2 cars behind them. Noah Lyle just going out of shot. Riccardo Grazia is not close enough this time around, nowhere near as close as he was last time around. Lyle not feeling the need to defend, unless Grazia decides to dive on down the inside, which he doesn't. Yeah, DriveX mechanics holding the pit board. 7 laps completed, which is 7 laps completed. We are on lap number 8 now. Fastest lap for Enzo Deligny, a 2 minutes dead, 0.019. And that gap is 1.1 seconds. Deligny had dropped back slightly. Is now maybe having another go on Christian Ho. Challenge for the lead. Theophile Nael, he's still there in 3rd place, just over half a second behind the 2nd place man. It's Ho, Deligny, Nael. This is a very, very, very interesting battle, because on one hand, Deligny is probably, he wants to challenge, he wants to press, he wants to push. He also doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to attack from behind from Nael, and as you can see there, Deligny lost just nearly 0.4 of a second to Nael last time around. As they come into the final chicane. Left. That's a sluggish, lumbering chicane, really. You dodder through this middle bit, and then you go right, and then it leads onto a kind of left-hand kink. It's not even really a corner, you just keep your foot in nonetheless. You just drive hard onto the start-finish straight. The completion of 8 laps The lead is still 1 second for Christian Ho. Enzo Deligny in second place with Theophile Nael in third position. Off in the distance behind is Pedro Claro in fourth position, 3.5 seconds behind the top three. He's fighting off Noah Stromstead, Valerio Vinicello, Matteo De Pello. Four-way battle for fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh. We should see it coming from now. There is Claro in the orange machine. Stromstead just behind. Just behind there is Vinicello, who was seen a bit wobbly earlier on, but he seems to have regained his composure. Pello there in seventh place. Riccardo Grazia, meanwhile, off screen has taken Noah Lyle for ninth positions. Although in that battle with Lyle, he's lost 3 seconds to Alazzari. The gap between the two of them is nearly 4 seconds. Stromstead working hard now to chase down. Well, he has really chased down Claro. Now he's got to actually make the move work. The gap just a few laps ago was over 2 seconds. It's now only half a second. Does Stromstead have the strength to get past the race winner from Spa-Francorchamps? They come on the back straight. You have Claro just in front of the orange number 22, then Stromstead just behind in the white car. Then in another orange machine you've got Vinicello, who's looking for a way past into the top five. He's not going to make it through here. And in seventh place, keeping a watching brief, is another race winner from Spa-Francorchamps, Matteo De Pello. Alazzari, and now you have a train starting with Noah Lyle, Geronimo Berrio, Riccardo Grazia there in 11th place, Ninovic is 12th, Sarazan is 13th, and at the back of that is Al Rafai and Jeff Peebles, bringing all the way down to 15th place. This really is a fantastic battle for these minor positions. Unfortunately for them, none of them really paying any points. And you do see Berrio going through. Does he decide? Oh, this is Claro and Stromstead going through. But Claro holds Stromstead at bay. They were side by side. Claro locks up. Vinicello goes through. Takes Stromstead. Stromstead clean off the circuit. Now, is De Pello going to take Stromstead as well? He might, but doesn't. Is Stromstead going for Claro for fourth place? Actually put him slightly off track and allowed Vinicello through. De Pello's going to try again anyway. But not quite successful. And I can't tell you yet if Berrio did complete that move on Noah Lyle. Hopefully we'll find out in a few moments' time. In this scenario, Claro is in fourth place ahead of Vinicello, with Stromstead down to sixth position. De Pello is seventh place. Fantastic challenge there for Noah Stromstead, but it didn't quite work out for him. Here is the Berrio-Lyle side by side into turn one. Lyle goes clean off the circuit. Berrio holds the track position, and I do wonder if there may be an order from race control to give that position to Berrio. Lyle went off the circuit to maintain that position, and the stewards may not look too kindly on that. We have our first track limits penalty, and it is for Alex Ninovic. He was in 12th place. That's 2 seconds. And we have another track limits penalty for Eric Genet. He's 5 seconds. There must have been multiple penalties. That's just come through now in the last few moments. In fact, it was actually Genet's second penalty of the race, which is why it's now increased to 5 seconds as opposed to the standard 2, which had been handed out to everyone else. Claro in fourth position, then you got Vinicello. Stromstead still there in sixth position. De Pello in seventh. Stromstead is not giving this up by any stretch of the imagination. Meanwhile, the battle between that quartet has been so fiery, it's allowed Chiana Alazzari to take a couple of seconds. Oh, and this is Morano. already involved in an incident with David Nogales. Nogales has gone into the back of Morano. Well, there may be words about that afterwards. That seemed quite silly. Quite silly. And Nogales has gone into the pit lane. Meanwhile, you've still got Clara, you still have Rinicella's 45th positions, then you got the white card, number 75 for Noah Stromstead, and at the back of that foursome is Matteo De Pello, and we see a Marshall. And doing something. And camera panning now to the back straight as we see Christian Ho with Enzo Deligny and Theophile Nael in third position. One driver being pulled in. That is Juan Cota. His race is done. And that's Stromstead trying to go down the inside of Rinicella, and he does. And Rinicella goes off the circuit. And De Pello has got through as well. So Rinicella lost 2 positions there, but now De Pello is trying to get a run on Stromstead. Stromstead on the inside, De Pello now De Pello dives to the inside, a fantastic move, a late swap. De Pello goes through and into 5th position. A fantastic piece of opportunistic driving from De Pello. And now Rinicella will be absolutely furious with Stromstead and may feel that he was pushed a bit wide by his Danish rival. Well, that's up to debate. And if you're in the chat, debate about it. And in the background, Alazzari has taken another 1.5 seconds off this trio. It's allowed Petro Claro to escape somewhat. The gap between Claro and De Pello, who's now 5th place, is 1.9 seconds. De Pello up to 5th position. Stromstead still 6th. Rinicella is 7th now. As we see Deligny and Nael going through the 3rd and 4th. Claro, and now you have this is De Pello, then you got Stromstead, then you got Rinicella. They're fighting so hard over these last point positions. The final points paying position in this race is 8th place, which is currently held by Chiara Alazzari. And he's the car that's just come into the picture there now. The top, well, the middle of the screen really. So we see Rinicella is trying to get a run on Stromstead as they go on the back straight. De Pello is just a little bit too far ahead, but will Rinicella try and go down the inside? The apex this time around. Stromstead defends, goes right to the inside road. Rinicella is going to try and maintain an outside line, but he's just pushed a little bit too wide and can't make that work. But will he get a switchback? No, he can't, but he's going to hold close. He's going to try and get a run from the left-hand kick onto the start-finish straight. This race absolutely zipped by. 30 seconds plus 1 lap remaining. I think we're going to get one more lap after this one, but Rinicella, will he have enough time to take Stromstead? He doesn't take Stromstead, or doesn't even attempt to make a move into turn 1. Not much of an opportunity left now. It's Rinicella, 7th position. Been absolutely into wars this weekend. Of course, Rinicella will be fighting extra hard, having technically crossed the line as the race winner in the 3rd race at Spa, only to have a penalty applied, dropping him down to 12th, which handed the race win to De Pello. Of course, in that instance, Rinicella was found to have taken the lead in the final corner while outside of track limits. Alazzari's right there, by the way, in 8th position, the last car going through. That gap was only a few laps ago, only 3.5 seconds. It's now down to just 0.8 of a second. Such as how much those in front have lost compared to how much necessarily he has gained. Just a note, really, as we come to the towards the end of this race, we have actually quite a few retirements. Theodore Jensen is out, Danny Nogales is out, Juan Cota is out, Andres Cadenas is out, Claudio Oliveri is out, George Zarovsky is out, and Hiyu Makoshi never even started. So out of the 32 starters, we're at 25 runners at the moment, and the last of those, Lynn Hodinis, is already pitted. There's a 2-second penalty, time penalty, now applied to Alessandra Abzakova in 16th place. that will cost him about 2 or 3 positions. So we start the final lap of this race. Christian Ho's really extended himself in these last few laps. The gap is 2.3 seconds ahead of Enzo Deligny. And that is Alazzari right in the mix and has got the PO. As they come across the start-finish line. My apologies, no, that is not. That is Absakova, my apologies. That's not number 14, that's number 41. Esperanza Barrichello only spun! And a spin from Barrichello from 17th place. And he's lost several positions there, going for a position. It cost him significantly. And I do believe Barrichello has dropped down to 21st position. But meanwhile, you see on screen that is Christian Ho, who's performed absolutely imperiously today. He was imperious yesterday as well, only to get penalised late on. Deligny in second place in the Red Bull colours, ahead of Theophile Nael in third position. But then you got a long gap to Pedro Claro, but none of that matters to this man on screen. Christian Ho coming through final chicane, the left, a lumbering right, and then into a short shoot before a left kink, and takes him onto the start-finish straight to win race 2 at Motorland Aragon. His first race win, his first ever race win. A fantastic job. Theophile Nael took third place. Pedro Claro fourth, Nora Stromstead, or Matteo De Pello, sorry, was fifth, Nora Stromstead sixth, Valeria Renicella seventh, and Chiara Alazzari taking the final points position in 8th place. And fights right to the line. A fantastic race this morning, and a spinner and a bit of damage. That is the number 66, Geronimo Berrio. He was running on the outskirts of the top 10 and taking quite a bit of damage on that right rear, and it'll be interesting to see how he managed that, or how someone else managed that upon him. We'll hopefully see in a few moments' time, but meanwhile it's Christian Ho. He was so disappointed yesterday at the end, was barely able to smile on the podium. Didn't really congratulate anyone when he did come into the Parc Ferme after yesterday's race, having lost the win. Was absolutely dejected, and understandably so. But he has taken that win today. Background, a third place driver, that's Theophile Nael, the Sainteloc racing runner, and in the screen, Red Bull colours, the second place driver, Enzo Deligny. Some very, very, very solid points for Deligny. Driver now pulling into Parc Ferme. And I'm very, very, very delighted, and rightfully so. Christian Ho, half out of his car, replaces the steering wheel, both hands in the air to celebrate, and goes straight to his mechanics. very, very, very well deserved. Nael in the background, also celebrating another podium. Now, it's interesting though, because yes, even though finishing second place, it did bump Christian Ho very much up the standings, the point standings, and left him just 9 shy of Pedro Claro. Now, he's not going to pull that back today. Well, possibly. Claro finished 4th, he got 10. No, he'll be just behind. I think Claro will probably still lead the championship by about 1 point, particularly as Deligny claimed the fastest lap. But Deligny himself is should be 3rd in the standings at the end of this. He's playing himself. He's playing himself very much into this championship standings. 2 drivers in the top, 2 Campos drivers in the top 3. The 3rd place man for Sainteloc Racing. And Sainteloc Racing really coming on strong, having made their move into single-seater racing and only in the middle of last year. There's a team very much known and familiar for actual GT racing, as opposed to single-seater racing, although they're making quite a move into a lot of single-seater racing this year, with plenty of action in that race. That was some of it between Stromstead and Rinicella. There were some unwise incidents. That was Chiara Alazzari with Mattia De Peo earlier on. And that is Rifai. And this was the first real incident. This is Morano and Oliveri. Morano dirting his tyres after going off and then into the side pod and left rear of Oliveri. There may be some penalty action from that later on. And that was, I'm pretty certain that was Rinicella going into the back of Cardenas that time. And Berrio making a move down the inside of Noah Lyle. But we have an interview now with the race winner,
congratulations.
Christian Ho.
Yesterday it couldn't be, but finally today you achieved the win. How do you feel?
Feel good, obviously. I mean, my first win in single-seaters and my first win in quite a long time. I think the race was really tough. I mean, Enzo pressured me for the first half of the race, and then, I mean, I think we were quite equal on pace, but at the end, I think I saved my tires a bit better than him, and from there it was not easy, but was trying to conserve and make sure that I win the race. And I mean, I think it's a good step forward in my career, and I think looking forward to the next race, and now it's time to focus again and try to win the next one as well.
Good luck for the last.
Yeah, thank you.
Focused response from Christian Ho. And we'll see this results on screen now. Christian Ho taking the win after 14 laps from Enzo Deligny with Theophile Nael. 3rd place, Pedro Claro was 4th ahead of Mattia De Peo. Then Noah Stromstead, Valerio Rinicella and Chiara Alazzari rounded out the point scoring positions with Riccardo Grazia and Noah Lyle taking out the top 10. Alex Ninovic and Federico Alrifai were left in the 12th ahead of Pedro Sarrazin, Griffin Peebles, Jessica Rasquada, Alexander Absakova, Carl Bennett, Alvis Rodera, Eric Genet 19th and Luciano Morano, who had an incident. He was 20th. Alessandro Silvaggio came up to 21st. Fernando Barrichello dropped down to 22nd. Maximiano Restrepo and Lynn Hodez 23rd and 24th. And then you have drivers who Geronimo Barrio had an incident on the last lap. Then non-finishers Theodore Jensen, Daniel Nogales, Juan Cota, Andres Cardenas, Flavio Oliveri, Georgi Zravsky and Heiyu Yamakoshi did not stop. Still not entirely sure what actually happened to Geronimo Barrio. Hoping to find out soon, or maybe in the gap between races 1 and 2. Some further incidents and action from that race. That was a fantastic move by Mattia De Peo, switching across the circuit to maybe create a dummy for Stromstead. Fernando Barrichello, I think, got the wrong line and really lost grip there. As we go to the podium. Now, we're only going to have one podium this morning. And there's another race directly after this. So we will not be able to see the rookie podium, but we will get the main podium done eventually. As the drivers now are out of their car. They've done their interviews, some drifting in the car park. And that is actually official drifting. It's not, I've been to some circuits where there's been drifting in a car park and it's not actually been, it's actually just people having a laugh. But there you go, that looks fun too. I wouldn't mind having a go at that actually. That looks good. I'd probably crash it. I'm waiting for the podium still. It's Christian Ho. And as I mentioned earlier on as well, the fastest lap went to Enzo Deligny for a 2 minutes .019. That gained him an additional point. Off the top of my head, I do believe, I do believe for a certain Pedro Claro will still lead the championship, but the gap between Christian Ho is not going to be 1 point or 2 points. It's one of the two. And we should have drivers coming out in a few moments' time. You see people at the door waiting patiently. And the trophies are ready. And someone has a clipboard there. It's always good for that someone has a clipboard. And having a discussion amongst themselves. And our drivers will go up to the little kind of room behind the podium, get a swig of water, a towel, wipe themselves down, freshen them up slightly. See the conditions in Motorland Aragon. As I said, cooler than it was yesterday. It's 21 degrees at the moment and quite a bit of a wind there. It was 27 when we raced yesterday evening. When we race again later on, it'll be pretty much the height of the afternoon. And I can tell you when we're going to race later on, as soon as I find the schedule for the weekend. Because I should know this off by heart. And I don't. And that's on me. Okay, race 3 will be 1 o'clock UK, 2 p.m. on the continent. So there you go. And they see quite a few people mulling around the paddock. Getting a lot of racing action this weekend at Motorland Aragon. And just waiting now for drivers to still make their way onto the podium. There will be preparations going on in the pit lane as well. Oh, and we've got someone with a microphone, which means people are going to come out to the podium now. And reading out the action he's just seen before him. And the top 3. Third place man, that's Theophile Nael. Very good result for him today for Sainteloc Racing. And then Enzo Deligny, race winner yesterday, is second today. And Christian Ho was so cruelly denied race win yesterday, but takes it today. Absolute aplomb. Trophies, and as a team member, team representative for Campos Racing. And Campos Racing have come on so strong in the last couple of seasons. Really, almost quite dominant last season. And the first trophy handed out to Campos Racing for the team's victory. Of course, Nicholas Olive was the champion last season with Campos Racing. We should see the drivers' trophies now. There's the very nice bronze trophy going to Theophile Nael. Quite happy with that. Was always chasing the leading two, but never quite really on pace and really maybe pushed him that bit too far. The silver trophy going to Enzo Deligny, but still a very credible performance by the young Frenchman. Streets ahead of those behind, had cleared Pedro Claro long ago. As you see, the gold trophy for the race winner of Christian Ho. Christian Ho built a little bit of a gap, had some pressure earlier on, but really broke the back of the race midway point. And for that, We get the national anthem of Singapore.
Pues ahí está, por favor, un fuerte aplauso al piloto de Singapur, Christian.
That was the national anthem of Singapore. Didn't really hear any of it. Quite like hearing national anthems for the first time. We heard how to hearing a national anthem for the first time last year with Nicholas Solod. It's always quite a thrill. See the photos we've taken. We should see some drink being sprayed. No, we don't. It comes straight off to the side. And so it has been a fantastic second race today. Lots and lots and lots of action. And some incidents which we may see reflected in penalties for the grid for race 3. But oh, we are getting a rookie podium. Oh, this is nice. Enzo Deligny top step there. Alexari, and driver second place is getting the silver trophy now. That's Matteo De Peo.
Y finalmente vencedor de la categoría rookies de Fórmula 4, el piloto Enzo Deligny.
And Enzo Deligny getting the trophy for the winning rookie. Although, yeah, doesn't look that thrilled about it. Really should be. It's a nice trophy. And the top 3 in the rookie podiums get together for photographs. Already thinking ahead to race 3, which is just in less than 3 hours' time. And we're going to be thinking about race 3 as well. Oh, we finally get a spray. We finally get a spray. The drivers have worked out what the bottles are for. Yes, Matteo, you have to wear that race suit again later on and it will stink. Anyway, with that, thank you very much for joining Spanish Formula 4 this morning. We've had some wonderful action. And we will be back later on this afternoon for the final race of the weekend. That is going green around 2 p.m. on the continent and 1 p.m. in the UK. Do tune in on the Spanish Formula 4 YouTube channel with more action and more excitement from Motorland Aragon. My name's been Leo Gorman. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring this to you today, and I will talk to you later today.